This is my first time on this stage and with a mic. My first time reading my own work, then reading somebody else's work, and my first time actually reading this piece. I don't think I told anybody this story before. It's called My Summer Climb. It was a warm summer afternoon in Mexico City. I woke to the sound of passing cars near my street, the rumbling echoing through the horseshoe-shaped courtyard of our hotel. I was alone. My family had, at my relentless request, left me behind at the hotel, recovering from Montezuma's proverbial revenge. Having finally gotten the rest and relief I desired, I was wide awake and looking to entertain myself. Being just 10 years old, I would normally be running out the door to play with my neighborhood friends, or off to the jungle gym, where as a queer youth I'd earned the derisive name of Monkey. I answered to it with relish because swimming for the jungle gym was the one physical thing I really did well. Yet looking out my hotel window, I was far from home and the things I enjoyed doing. But Mexico City was interesting. It wasn't suburbia. It wasn't perfect. It was old. It was unique and continuously sparking my young imagination. The encircling hotel walls looked like white low cliffs with periodic ledges of tiny balconies. I stepped out onto our own balcony and gazed with the wonder of a child at the playground that unfolded before me. Our own balcony was near the opening of the courtyard, just to the left. And to the right, I saw another balcony. It wasn't far. It wasn't far at all. I took a quick glance around the courtyard and at the visible windows, and then I grinned a smug little grin. And before my brain could say no, I was dangling from the adjacent balcony. Monkey, ha! I was a cat burglar. To catch a thief had nothing on me. I was in my element, albeit 30 feet above the cobblestone pavement, but that never came to my mind. I was too busy looking for the next handhold, testing the railing that easily supported my small frame, or looking around carefully because getting caught was my worst fear. Mom and Dad flipping out, mostly from embarrassment. I chuckled to myself softly at just the thought as I peered through the railing of the next balcony. Open doors. Open doors? I carefully passed this balcony to not alert the occupants and moved to the next. The thrill of my free climb further triggered my imagination. I had it. I'm not a cat burglar. I'm a spy evading capture. Oh, I'm doing surveillance for suspected enemy agents in the heart of Mexico City. I was nearly halfway around the courtyard when I heard a sound. A man crossing the courtyard. Ugh. I froze, like a spider on the wall, frightened to be swatted. He was walking away from me, making for one of the cars. If he doesn't look up, I'm golden. The seconds passed, and he started the car and drove away. Ha! He must have been really out of his mind, really on something else, or he didn't imagine seeing some crazy gringo trying to scale the hotel walls. I breathed a sigh of relief, and there it was again, that smug little grin that I always got when I was doing something really bad. I loved it. I was driven by the adventure. Just how far could I climb? And for the first time in a week, I was free. Free of the constant parental supervision. Free of being carted around like luggage from one location to the next. Free from being forced for what seemed like miles by our crazy father from one location. And occasionally, we piled into one of those crazy little Mexican taxis. Only room enough for my mom, my dad, and my brother to sit in the back. So once again, like luggage, I was slung behind the rear seat and below the rear window. I feigned hating this, but I loved it. I was in my own space, and every once in a while I could sleep. Though the taxi drivers made this very challenging, because they enjoyed showing off the machismo by cutting off large buses and trucks. I had the unique perspective to look up through my rear window and see these gigantic shapes looming like giant ocean lions about to crush our little boat. It was both terrifying and hilarious. I would look up at the impending doom and roar with laughter as the taxi driver would hit the horn, da-da-da-da-da, charge, cutting off these enormous moving objects. I would regain my composure just long enough to put my head over the seat and yell to my parents, "We're all gonna die!" This was not the first time my parents wished they hadn't had a second child. If they could only see me now, they'd cringe. I had just scrambled onto the next balcony, yet another open door, the curtains fluttering in the breeze, and I realized, into the road, nowhere else to climb. I was nervous about the open door, but even more so because my own balcony was now on the opposite side of the courtyard. There was movement behind the door. I froze. The movement stopped. I quickly slipped over the railing and started making my return flight, albeit not by the same path. I may be climbing for my life, but I don't need to make it dull. 15 minutes later, I was lowering myself back into the safety and, yes, boredom of my own hotel room. My parents returned shortly to collect me for dinner, and no one was the wiser of my earlier adventure. There it was again, that smug little grin. Yep, I got away with scaling the hotel. But why would I tell them otherwise? I mean, who would believe a 10-year-old child had climbed from balcony to balcony? Until now.